and welcome back to part 3 of domestic violence, and this will be the final video. And so where I left off the last video was that incident that had happened, and another incident I was about to talk about was when we were at a birthday party, and we were driving home from the birthday party. I wasn't drinking because I had my oldest son with me, so that was, my baby, and I think he was only like a year, I want to say like a year and a half old maybe. And so I didn't drink that night. He was beyond intoxicated, and I'll be right back. Okay, so he was beyond intoxicated, and I remember asking him for the car keys to the car, and this day was super embarrassing because so we're at his friend's nephew's birthday party. I think it was his nephew or something like that, and so that means everybody's there, the mom, the parents to the baby, it's at this family's house, so everyone's there. And I just remember I was discreetly saying like, hey, let me get the keys, I'll drive, you're pretty drunk, and like he just cursed me. Like, it was so embarrassing, like, F you, I'm gonna drive, you're not gonna drive, and like just being totally like irate, disrespectful. And I just remember being like, okay, whatever. I just laughed it off, like, okay, whatever, that's whatever. So myself and my baby, I get my baby in the car seat, and we start loading up. We're about to leave, and so we're driving the back roads, and we lived about 5 miles out of town, so maybe 6 miles, and so we are driving the back road, and the back road is super pitch, and then next thing you know, he starts talking to me so disrespectful, telling me things that I didn't do, like he was trying to tell me to do something sexual to him, and I was just like, no, like I'm not gonna do that, what the hell's wrong with you, and like I remember telling him like, stop talking to me like that, I'm not one of your little hoes, and you're not going to disrespect me like that. And I just remember feeling so hurt that he was even talking to me and talking down to me like that. Not that it wasn't out of the norm, but it was out of the blue, more like. And I was just like, what a douche, in my mind. I'm looking out the window like, oh, this fool right here, I swear, like, he's so disrespectful. He's so like, who is this person, And I just remember like asking myself, like, why are you even in this relationship? Like, this fool sucks. Like, he does not respect yourself, himself, and doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect the baby. He doesn't respect the situation that he is drunk and you want to drive so you all get there safe. And I just remember thinking all these things, and then so I'm looking out this way because I'm in the passenger seat, and I remember him like just talking crap and just like cursing me, and I just remember I looked at him and I just like give him the ugliest look, but he was looking at the road. And so I turned my head again. Next thing you know, I just feel like the back of his fist just like slam into my face, and like it was repetitive, like probably a good 3-4 times. So boom, boom, boom. And I just remember like, oh my god, this feels like really hitting me right now. And so I don't recall crying right away. I just remember like telling him stop. He was driving about 60-75 miles an hour, and he's just like punching me and like hitting me, and my thing in my mind right there was to turn around and look at my baby like, oh my god, is my baby okay? And I just remember asking him, stop, you're swerving off the road, just stop. And I just woke up the baby. So after, I remember looking back at the baby and just thinking, okay, he's good, he's okay. He started yelling, I'm gonna kill you, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you, you're effing dead, I hate you, and just like being so mean. And I just remember feeling, wow, you hit me that bad, just from like 5 seconds ago to now. So at this point, I'm just like, I don't even care if you kill me. I don't even care. Like, just don't hurt my baby. Just get my baby safe to my mom's house, and whatever. The rest is history. And he was driving so fast, and he was punching it so fast. I just remember, oh, and I remember when he was driving, and he says, if I wreck, I'm gonna make sure you die. And I was just like, whoa. So I remember I took off my seatbelt, I opened the door, and I jumped out. And when I say I jumped out, I literally jumped out, and I was just boom, 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 boom in the field. And it was so crazy because I remember feeling so afraid. This back road, there was hardly no traffic, and it was super late. It was probably like a Friday or Saturday night. It was super, super late. We're probably heading back home about, I don't know, maybe midnight. And so I remember just seeing, the moon, like, as I was spinning, I could just see the sky and the moon just over and over, like, in circles. And I don't know how I didn't break any bones, Like, I don't know how that happened, only by the grace of God, to be honest, that I didn't get dramatically hurt. I did hurt my leg, I did hurt my wrist, but I did not get, like, severely hurt. And so when I jumped out, he hit the brakes for, like, maybe, I don't know, 5 seconds, and then he just took off. And I thought he was gonna get out of the car and, like, drag me back into the car, but he actually took off, and he ended up dropping my baby off at his mom's house. And so I'm, like, running down this long strip. It is super pitch dark. I just remember crying and asking God, like, why me? Like, why am I going through this? Why me? Why do I have to endure this pain? Why do I have to endure this physical, mental, and emotional abuse? I wouldn't understand everything that I went through until now, as I'm an older woman, and experience life a little bit more. So after that incident, after the fact that he drove off, and then he comes back, and we're, like, fighting in the street, and every car that was driving by, I was, like, waving them down, like, stop, stop, stop. I'm full of blood, I'm full of dirt, I'm full of mud, and I'm just like, stop, stop, stop. And they just, boom, keep going, and I'm just like, no, please, somebody help me. And so I'm, like, running down this road, and it's just so pitch dark, and out there's coyotes. And so I just remember feeling so scared, like, I don't want to get attacked, I don't want to die, you know what I'm saying? So he comes back, he drags me in the car, and we're, like, fighting and scuffling the whole time. And he takes me further out past the house, and he's just like, that's it, you're effing dead tonight, I can't stand you, I swear to God, you're dead. And I was just like, okay. Like, I sat there, and I was quiet, and I didn't say anything anymore. I no longer had tears. I was just like, okay, if this is what you want to do, then we're going to do that, I guess. So we go to this canal. He, like, drags me out of the car, and he's just like, I'm going to snap your neck, and that's it, you're dead tonight, I swear to God, I hate you, and I hope nobody finds your body, and like, just talking really ugly. And I'm just like, okay. At this point in my life, I was like, okay. I was okay with dying at that moment, because that's what I felt inside. Like, yeah, kill me already. Just get me out of this, because no matter how many times I break up with you, you still come begging me back. And it's a vicious cycle, and it never ends. It felt like it never ended. And so I'm on my knees, and he's behind me, and he's like, I'm going to snap your neck and throw you in the canal. And I said, okay, but just remember, when they find me, they're going to know you did it. Everybody saw you leave together. And I don't know, I guess a light bulb just kind of went off in his head, and he was like, get in the car, I'm taking you to my mom's. He's all, I want you to get all your crap and get out of my house. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm fine with that, So we get to his mom's house. I didn't even run in the house. What I did was, I ended up having my sister go pick up my baby from his mom's house. I got out of the car, I took off running to my best friend's house down the street. and you can hear him yelling, like, just being very ugly. I hope, somebody kills you. I hope you, a bunch of ugly stuff. And so I take off running, and I get to the end of my best friend's house. Their driveway is super long, and I'm like out of breath, and I'm just like, oh my God, finally I'm somewhere safe. So I get to her backsliding door, and her mom opens the door, and she's just like, oh my God, like she already knew what the hell was going on. She comes in, and she's like, my best friend's name's Andrea, so she's like, Andrea, go get her some clothes, and she's like, take a shower. And I'm just like, okay. And I just started bawling, like I'm just crying. And she gives me a hug, and she's like, this has to stop. And I just remember crying, and I was just like, I know, I want my baby. And so I ended up staying there for like, I don't know, a few weeks. I ended up staying with my best friend for a few weeks, and then I ended up going back to my mom's, and of course, things just, life went on, and it was just ugly. The vicious cycle didn't stop until about a year or two after that incident. But to fast forward and not make this video super long again, the day that I finally said, okay, this was it, I'm done. My best friend had been living with me for about 2 months maybe, and he and I were like real distant. We were just, I kept telling my best friend, like, I don't care about him anymore. Like, I don't want nothing to do with him. I just don't care. I don't feel anything there. Like, it's been gone since I had found out that I was pregnant with my second son. It was just an ugly pregnancy. The whole thing was just a mess. And so I would make my friend stay the night there with me. I would take her to her house, pick up clothes, and go back to my house. And I'd go tell her mom, like, we're going to help you clean the house, and we'll help you cook or whatever. And then we're going to go back to my house. Dre has to stay with me. And then, she was like, okay, whatever. So finally one day, he didn't come home for like a week. For that whole week, he didn't come home, and I was just like, okay, whatever. He said his mom's, it's whatever. So I remember calling his mom's house, and I was just like, hey, is so-and-so there? And she was like, oh, yeah, he's right here. So he gets on the phone, and he's like, well, what do you want? You're bothering me. I said, I'm bothering you? And I have him on speaker, so my best friend's listening to everything, and I'm looking at her like, really? This will seriously, I'm bothering you? Well, first of all, I need your portion of the baby's school, and then I need more money because the baby needs diapers, and you have not been here all week, so you need to come drop me off some money if you want to stay at your mom's. And it was like, did this fool just really say I'm bothering him right now? So I remember saying, well, who's over there? And he's like, what are you talking about? It's just my mom and my sister. And I was like, okay. And I don't know, it was just like a gut feeling, instinct or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? Put your mom on the phone. So she gets on the phone, and I'm like, you know what? You gotta have your son back. I'm on my way over there. I'm gonna drop all this crap off at your house, which I did not say crap. I was cursing, and I was being a hot mess. And I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. You could have your son back. All you freaking twisted people, you can keep it pushing. I'm done. And she's like, oh, no. Hold on. Mijo wants to talk to you. I said, oh, what's that? He's Mijo. Okay. So he gets back on the phone. He's like, babe, let's talk about it. Don't leave. Don't be dramatic. Don't be whatever. And I was like, oh, so now I'm babe. Right? I'm like, no. I drive to his mom's house. And I tell my best friend here, I throw her a few black bags, and I'm like, fill up these bags with all of his crap. I'm done. And so she does. We drive off over there, dump his crap off, and that was literally the last of it. Like, I was done. I never looked back, and I still dealt with a bunch of drama after that. But I was done. Like, I was so done. Come 2005, I ended up rekindling with my husband. He was my first boyfriend. So we ended up talking a lot, and we were chit-chatting up, and by this point I already was talking to another person, but it was nothing serious. So, I had told my husband, yeah, I'm talking to somebody, nothing serious, but it's whatever, He's pretty much helped me move on from the whole baby daddy drama. So my husband was like, cool, it's fine, I am talking to somebody too, and it's whatever. We kept it honest, and we were 100 with each other. So as the days were going on, and the weeks and the months, me and my husband started talking more and more. So he ended up asking me out one night, and he was like, hey, do you want to try this one more time? Because by this time, me and my husband already had broken up like 2 times. And so I just remember thinking, it was funny because when we started talking and I started thinking, oh my God, that'd be so awesome if I ended up back with Gabriel. But I was like, but if not, oh well, you know? And so when he asked me back out, like in a heartbeat, I was like, yes, you know? And I just remember telling him, let me call you back in 5 minutes. And I called the other person I was talking to. I was like, hey, don't call me, don't contact me. We're whatever we were, it's done. Like, you keep it pushing. I'm gonna keep it pushing. And so that's pretty much how it went. Me and my husband got back together, and we got married like a few months after getting back together. Like, he asked me on November, December, January, February. So 3 months later, he asked me to marry him, and then 2 weeks after he proposed, we got married. So before we got married, his parents had talked to us about, um, marriage and how serious and sacred it should be and could be, and how beautiful it is, a beautiful thing. And at this point, like, I had lost so much within those 2 years from 2004 to 2005 that I was a mess. Like, my mind was a mess, my emotions were a mess. I was just a mess. And my mother-in-law and my father-in-law sat us down and told us pretty much, like, hey, that this marriage is not going to work without, Christ being the center of your marriage. And I remember thinking at that moment, like, well, this is serious, and so even though me and my husband were already talking about, hey, let's give our life to God, because, that's the only way, to begin with, that's how we met. We met in church. So I went astray, he went astray. I feel like we both kind of lived our issues and went through whatever we went through for a reason. And, we were getting back together for a reason, because we still loved each other. And, so what was the big deal, right? To give ourselves to God again and be one was going to be a beautiful thing, and it has been. And so we did. We dedicated our lives back, to Christ, and we've been strong ever since. Here we are, 2016, almost 17, and we'll be married 11 years in February. But the main reason why I made these videos was, one, to let y'all in a little bit about me and my background, and two, to help some people out there that might need a little bit of advice and a little bit of help in that area, because I know that a lot of young girls or even grown women don't like to talk about it. But I just want you to know that your self-worth is, bigger than you think, and you're more important than you know. And I want you to seek help, and I want you to open your heart, to help you open your spirit and see that this person who says they love you but hits you with their fist or slaps you with their hand, however this person abuses you, is not healthy. It's not healthy, and it's not love. I want y'all to know that you're important, okay? And you're worth being loved the right way. You do not need to put up with this kind of abuse. You do not have to prove yourself, your loyalties, or your heart to this person if he's not doing the same for you. And seek help. No matter how scared you are, seek help. There's so many outlets out there. There's so much help out there for people, and battered women, or men even as well. Seek help, get help. Don't be afraid to do it. It's a very scary thing. I know it is, because this was a long trial of issues for me to deal with. To this day, this person is going to be serving 26 years in prison because he continued to do these things. He continued to do these things. Finally, he's been slammed, and it's taken so many people to get hurt and so much abuse to happen from all these other women. And I've always set the tone of warning for these people, because I felt like if you can get away from this person, do it, because I know what he's capable of. I was the first person to witness that abuse. So I mean, as scary as it can be, as scary as it is in the moment, just know that you're important, and somebody else out there, be it your family or be it friends, close friends, they can help you, but you need to ask for it, and you need to have your full heart in making the next step, whether it's pressing charges, getting away 100%, whether there's kids involved or not, because that's what I did. Kids involved or not, I was gone, and you were not going to see my kids no more, because your abuse, I'm not going to tolerate it, not to me and not to my child anymore. So I'm just going to say, seek help, get help. It's going to be scary, it's going to be hard, but you know what? Through Christ, all things are possible, and you're worth it. You know, you are worth being loved, you know, and don't let nobody tell you any different. Don't let anybody bring you down and crush your spirit like that, because you know what? It has taken a long time for me, for my self-esteem, and for my spirit to be, you know, puzzled back together. And I'll be honest, without Christ, that would not have happened, because it took a lot of praying, a lot of crying, a lot of soul searching through Christ, that finally I'm like, wow. And I still have a lot of work to do, because I went through so much. But the fact that I have an amazing husband who supports me and supports all my crazy emotions that I do go through or don't, he always lends an ear, and he's always listening. He's always there to say, you know what, babe, I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry you feel this. I'm sorry you feel that. Let's pray. And I'm like, dude, he's the bomb. He's the bomb, I swear. But yeah, I just hope that this video reaches anybody out there and helps anybody out there going through this. Open your eyes a little bit, and love you. Love you first before you love anybody else. And your self-worth is so much more important than this person who can't love you. So I hope that this reaches you, and I hope that it's been a blessing to you, and I hope you all take care. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video, and God bless you all. Take care.